following session will address a complex issue, an oscillating issue in the last seasons, the shipping logistics for blueberry and fruits exports. To understand the current and future scenario, we have invited Mr. Iván Marambio, President of SOX, Mr. Ricardo Barkland, Manager Director in Cool Carriers, Boris Alharo from Maersk Shipping Company, and Luis Peralta, CMA CGM Commercial Director. The moderator will be Felipe Silva, the President of the Blueberry Committee. We'll have two presentations. First, Mr. Iván Marambio will analyze the logistics situation in Chile. After that, Mr. Ricardo Barkan will draw a balance of the first Blueberry Express. So now we hand the floor to Mr. Iván Marambio. Thank you, Gustavo. Good morning. I'm truly thankful for the invitation. Being co-organizers of this event together with the committee and the Jensen Group is a happy occasion after the pandemic. We hope that we'll keep this partnership in the future. The cutting point is the 2019-2020 season. Before that, in the company, in the professional associations, logistics didn't seem to be an issue. We took for granted that the logistics worked and that we could reach our markets in a timely and proper manner. However, the pandemic, as you know, and countries artificially boosting trade for a while, and then the war and the logistics, the worldwide logistics such as in a faraway country such as ours, couldn't stand the pressure. And also all the problems that we saw and that we are well aware of in the previous two seasons. As SOX, what we did is, well, we began to address the issue. And the first question was, is this a problem that we should face publicly to make it a national issue, or on the contrary, as most issues, it's better to keep secret, otherwise we would be shooting ourselves in the foot as a sector. Therefore, we hired a communications firm. We got advice, and they said, well, this can be a national issue because all of us want foreign trade, exports and imports to work well, to be really expedite and agile, because this is beneficial for the country. This, from all social organizations to big companies, all of them agreed, including the government. So that's what we did. Before this issue became well known, we talked to all associations and brought this issue to the public light. And on August 18th, this is the date we made the issue public, and together with the Food Exports Council, which gathers all associations that export food in Chile, we drafted a news report, published that. In a few weeks, or on August 23rd, the government summoned all players to a meeting to relaunch a collaborative logistics plan. A series of actions were carried out from the government and the associations. all aware that this was a national issue and that needed to be addressed by everyone. And that's what happened. We met with La Comport, the professional association that gathers all ports and shipping companies. So we sat with them to design initiatives that could unlock the logistics obstacles that we faced at that time. And as SOX, we think that it is important not to confuse logistics with infrastructure. The infrastructure, of course, that is necessary in the long term, is one aspect that is quite complex because it needs first funding. And whenever there is money involved, things tend not to flow that well. It's the same for water issues. We think that supply is everything. But there is for example, a constitutional discussion in which supply was not the issue, but the nature of water rights. Otherwise, everyone would run out of water. So first, we need to see all those things that can be solved without involving any money. Therefore, we requested the government and we proposed to the government some points of discussion together with the ports, managers, the shipping companies, and that's what we did. Here, there is nothing that involves infrastructure, maybe a little, but this is not the key aspect. What we want to do is to really know how we can solve the problems we have with the resources that we currently possess. Now, if you ask me, what eventually happened after this plan was drafted, I can say not much, unfortunately, but at least we learned that we could really move things with little effort, only by talking to a few players involved in the industry, and when everybody makes an effort, things can be done. So that's what we did. We proposed these actions. I could say that the two main ones out of these 12 listed here is coordination between the public and private sectors. There is a issue of third parties, and also the waves in San Antonio that went from 180 to 1.8 to 2 meters of height. So, like I said, we need to do more. However, we saw that we were able to coordinate actions. So once we made the issue public, we established milestones. The initial milestone was really to publish the issue and make it public. That was done. By August 25th, the government reacted, and then we started working on monthly milestones. We wanted to launch the fruit season in September, and we didn't do that because we needed the presence of some of the authorities to be with us, and we had to postpone the launch of the fruit season until we had authorities committed to the issue. However, we began publishing reports such as this one. And we did that throughout the entire season. In February, we met with port authorities from the United States, then Rotterdam. So we built relationships and we published news, and we were on the news during the peak of our fruit season. We eventually launched the fruit season in November. And this coincided with the launch. It had a lot of press with the presence of the minister and all exports and import agencies involved, customs, SAG, therefore. And 2 days later, there was a truckers' strike. However, the good news out of this is that the issue was already understood as a public problem. So the truckers' strike, the only thing it did was to really make the problem worse. Therefore, we believe that the problem was solved quite quickly because this was seen as a national issue, and all the public opinion, the government, the business associations, social organizations, everyone uh, supported and worked towards a solution. And we're still working on that, and we plan to continue doing so. So, what happened eventually? Well, here I'm only showing trends. These are this is preliminary data. This is the average transit time to United States for grapes. The blue are last season, and the brighter colors are for this season. Also, data for China. EcoFruit Safe Cargo provided this information to us, so thank you very much, Juan Jose. It's all the same. The gray bars are last season, and this season in blue, we can see a significant difference. Finally, challenges. This is the message that I have for you. This is what I want to discuss in the panel. We are full of challenges ahead. I will mention a few of them, maybe the ones that are less visible. They are not the most obvious ones, but might be the most important ones. First one is SAG. We, as an industry, we have to support SAG, which is the Food Safety Agency in Chile. They do a fantastic job. They are a world-renowned institution, and we need funding from the state, and we need to help them. We had problems in terms of investment last season in some of the regions in Chile. I've heard of other issues in other parts of the country, and we need to have a strong SAG. And the most important issue and challenge for us is precisely that. How can we strengthen SAG? Secondly, safety. And this affects us in many ways. In roads, I believe that many of you have suffered that for transporters, access to ports. And now, out of nowhere, we have this problem in the San Antonio port.
And also with the drugs traffic, and that is the problems that we have to deal with. Thirdly, we have sustainability, and this is in very concrete terms. The norms, the standards in both Europe and the United States are changing. And although we say that there will be more supply of shipping companies, but what kind of ships? Those that will be allowed to treat in the United States or Europe. Sometimes they will not be able when they are coming from the European Union and the United States for all the world. We have to work on this. The rapid vessels are more polluting than the slower ones. So we have to work on these measures for the very short term. Lastly, we have the human capital. This is a major challenge, how we're going to encourage people to stay in the field, to go to the farms and to work on the fruits. How we're going to do all of that. Although we have these problems that are not playing for us, and how we are going to deal with the immigrants that are working in Chile and can do their work in a more expeditious manner and continue to do so. And finally, they can contribute to the fruit producing activities. So this is the introduction to this panel, and additionally to the words.